Hey guys, it's SD, your host of the Life Picks Relationship podcast, where people with all sorts of backgrounds, challenges, and life experience show us how they make their relationship extraordinary. Hey guys, we're here today with Scott Aaron. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just grateful to be here and, honored to talk to you today.
Yeah, for the second time after failing the first.
Hey, listen,
Thanks for that.
sometimes you gotta, sometimes practice makes practice.
Yeah. So, do you want to start by telling us a bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I am a best-selling author, speaker, podcaster, and business coach. I focus on teaching the art of human connection to online entrepreneurs. So people that want to connect with their audiences in a much more genuine and authentic way without having to do funnels or email sequences or any of those things that are actually pulling people away from the most important thing, which is connecting with other human beings. And I also have a nearly 2-decade career as a wellness professional. I was a traditional brick and mortar business owner. I had some gyms and was a personal trainer and sports nutritionist for nearly 18 years.
Wow. So, what makes your relationship extraordinary?
With my significant other,
Yes.
well, I've been married and divorced twice, so I definitely have a clear understanding of what it means to be a good partner, a best friend to the person that you're with, dating the significant other that you're with, not just being with them. And I learned a lot from my two marriages, and I don't consider them failed marriages at all because there was something positive and a learning experience to take away from both of them. And the second marriage obviously left me with the greatest gift, which is now my 7.5-year-old little boy, Taylor. But it also gave me the emotional maturity and understanding of how to connect with my partner better and to listen, to open up, to share my feelings. And, what really makes my relationship with my future wife and fiance so dynamic is we couldn't be any more alike. She says that we water each other, and I couldn't agree with her more. She's my best friend. She's my business partner. She's my life partner. And I think having that openness and that honesty where we can come to each other for anything. And being quarantined is an interesting thing when you're in a relationship, because if it's a good relationship, it makes it a better relationship. And we work from home anyway. But for those people that are maybe not in the best relationship, this is a very, very trying time. And again, I think what really makes us special is the deep, deep love and respect that we have for each other.
So, do you think if she would have been the first one you met and married, if it would have worked or would have been different?
It's hard to say because everything happens for a reason. And I truly believe that the universe basically said, you're going to have to get married twice before you find the person that you're supposed to be with. And, my first marriage, I was married at the age of 26. I was a kid. It's 26 sounds like it's old, but I don't, we had a good relationship. I don't think emotionally ready to take on the responsibility of being a husband. I was still a kid for the most part. And as far as the second relationship, I thought I needed an older woman in my life, and my second wife was, and but age didn't really matter to me whether they're older or younger. You just learn that as you get older, what are the things that you want and the things that make you happy. And I really wasn't making her happy, and we just weren't. I mean, obviously we were seeing eye to eye on our son, and we still co-parent very, very well. And they're both thriving, which I'm very happy for, and we have a very open and co-parenting relationship. But it all helped me learn to take ownership and responsibility for me and my feelings and my emotions and how I communicate. And it was priming me to meet the right person. I wasn't planning on getting back into a relationship again. I was just dating around, and I was convinced maybe I shouldn't be married. Maybe I should just be single, be by myself, and have my time with my son. And Nancy, my fiance, was kind of in the same boat. She had been engaged twice, and kind of resigned to the fact that maybe she's just better just being with herself and having time with her family. And we met on Bumble, which is an online dating app, and we both swiped right, and we had a great first date, and it kind of just started building from there, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So, how has your relationship changed from the first time you met her till now?
It's gotten better. We're getting married in a few months, and we just bought our dream home, and we moved in right before the quarantine. So if there's any great place to be quarantined, it's in your dream home, which is awesome. And honestly, we've been together. November will be 3 years that we've been together, and it's gone by like beyond fast. But I truly fall in love with her more and more all the time. Like, she just is one of the most incredible human beings I've ever met. Just loving and caring and outgoing and just so understanding. And honestly, if I couldn't be with her, I probably would just be by myself, because I don't think there's any other perfectly imperfect person out there for me. And we truly do just get stronger and better every single day. It's awesome.
Wow. So, do you see any change in your own self since you met her?
Absolutely. She even says this. I'm a very goofy person. People that I'm serious when I have to be, as far as for business. But she even said to me in the very beginning, she really liked me, but I was really serious. The goofy side of me didn't really come out for the first few months. So what I noticed is, what's changed about me is that I can truly be my authentic, genuine self all the time with her and never have to apologize. I'm not ashamed of my goofiness or my silliness. Like, she's goofy and silly right along with me. So what's changed is she's given me permission and given me the confidence to always be who I am every single day.
Wow. And I'm sure that affected also your life outside your relationship, your work, and everything else that you do.
Well, absolutely. Because, when you can unapologetically, be who you are, that's a message that you can then take to your clients, because I think everyone is in some way, shape, or form trying to be someone who they're not. They're trying to show up a certain way on social media to give some sort of false reality of how their life is, or they're comparing themselves to someone that they shouldn't compare themselves to, or they're striving for perfection, which doesn't exist. Perfection is a fallacy. There's no such thing as being perfect. We all have some sort of insecurity, and we all have some sort of imperfection that is beautiful in its own. And that's what learning that from her in our relationship has allowed me to take that into my coaching, into my speaking, into my writing, everything that I do.
Wow. Sounds like a dream relationship. Yeah.
It truly is. It truly is.
So, how do you deal with challenges?
Head on. It's something, challenges are always going to present themselves, and they're not meant to be swept under the rug, because that just kind of masks what's going on. And then resentment can build up, and then anger can build up. And that's when you see, volatile fighting and saying things that you don't mean. So for her and I, we're very, if there's a challenge, if there's something that needs to be discussed, we don't yell, we don't raise our voices. We literally sit and we have an adult conversation. And, listening to each other's feelings and being heard are very important. And, I know there's a lot of men out there that maybe aren't the best with patience and sitting down and talking to their wife or significant other, because they just have squirrel brain. That's the way that men are. We can't pay attention that long. But when you practice that and you focus on it, it only makes the relationship that much better, but also you'll be able to get through anything. I wholeheartedly believe that there is no challenge too big that Nancy and I can't get through together, because we truly are a team.
Wow, that's a really big statement.
It's the truth.
So is there anything that you ever argued about, or you literally just have discussions?
I mean, we have not gotten into a fight yet. I mean, we definitely have disagreements where we're not seeing eye to eye on something.
Yeah, because they're two different people.
Yeah, and we're not going to agree on everything, but yeah, we've never fought. We've never yelled. We know the importance of communication, because it's what we teach actually in our businesses. So we would be doing ourselves a disservice to our business if we didn't practice what we preached. So we both teach communication and connection. And that's what we feel is one of our superpowers as a couple is really being able to not let the emotional sides of things take over. We're very logical when things come up. So when something is said, we're actually listening to it, not taking it emotionally, not playing the victim and, oh, woe is me. We actually respond very logically and we talk through it as two adults should. And it's only making the relationship better. And again, I'll go back to it, communication. If you can clearly communicate how you feel and the other person is actively listening, then there's no good. I'm not saying there's never going to be fighting or arguing, but it's going to allow you to move through those things much easier than if there was walls of resistance being put up.
100%. Yeah. So what would you suggest to someone who wants to improve their communication skills?
Well, I think it's going back to something that I just said, which is actually listening. I think the one problem that people have is when they're talking to their spouse or partner, in your head, you're thinking about a rebuttal and what you actually need to say. When if you just actually sit and focus and be a good active listener, hearing what that person is actually saying is going to allow you to better communicate back to that person, not only how you feel, but you're actually going to hear what they're saying. And again, we all have this noise going through the 6 inches between our ears that sometimes drowns all of that out. So making eye contact with your partner, not multitasking, you're on your phone scrolling through. If something is really important to you, you're going to make time for it. And if something needs to be said, you're going to sit there, you're going to pay attention, you're going to listen to them, you're going to let them be heard, and you're going to share your feelings. And the thing that all men, I think, do at some point, I'm definitely a victim of this, is that you want to get through that rough patch as quickly as possible, brush it under the carpet and move on. But that's not what women want. You know, women want to talk things through, make sure they're being heard, make sure that you're communicating with them, not you're trying to, yeah, okay, fine, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, whatever, good, I'm good. That's not what they want. So being open, being honest, communicating, and listening will actually build for even a better relationship, but it will allow you to actually move through those conversations with ease.
Yeah. You create the space that anytime anything happens, you can always go and talk about it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what do you value most about your relationship?
I mean, there's a lot of things that I value, but I really value our trust. And we trust each other wholeheartedly. We always know that we have each other, our best intentions. It's not about me. It's not about her. It's always about us. And I think that's a big thing, is that we trust each other. And we know that this is something in a relationship, you either grow together or you grow apart. And we both trust each other enough where if we want to run something by the other person, that we're going to be open and honest and tell each other how we feel, whether it's what the person wants to hear or not. And, you know, honestly, if you don't have trust with the person that you're with, you don't have anything.
Yeah. Build on trust. Exactly. How do the 5 love languages play in your marriage?
Well, it's actually one of the first books that I read. And I read this book after my second divorce, because I was just kind of fed up with myself. And I'm like, what's going on here? Why, what is, I'm such a good communicator. You know, why are these relationships not working? And I was turning the mirror around, and I knew it had something to do with me, and I wasn't blind to that. But what I learned, and Nancy and I actually read this book together, and we when we first started dating, we actually asked each other, you know, what is your love language? You know, what is it? Understanding your partner's love language is essential. If you don't know what your partner's love language is, you will always act with your love language in mind. And again, the way that your partner wants to be loved is different from the way that you want to be loved. And, you know, mine is physical touch, words of affirmation. Those are my 2 big ones. And Nancy is also physical touch. She loves getting gifts, and also she loves words of affirmation. But if, you know, she knows that I don't like gifts. It's just not I mean, I appreciate them, but she knows that's not my love language. That's hers. But she still does it, and I still do it for her. But understanding how to fill your partner's love tank based on what is going to fill it up for them, not what it's going to fill it up for you, is vital. So that's definitely an open conversation that every couple should have. And that's a book that every couple should read together.
Yeah. What's the best relationship advice you've ever gotten?
I mean, I've gotten a lot of really great relationship advice, but it was about becoming independent within a relationship. So there's a lot of codependencies that can sometimes build. Nancy and I are very confident individuals. We are very independent. We think for ourselves, and we don't require the other person to live. We can live separately. So understanding it's important to lean on each other, but it's even more important to understand that every person needs their independence. So if she needs a girl's weekend, she can go and have it. If I need a guy's weekend, I can go and have it. You need that independence within a relationship, because not only are you a unit, you're also an individual, and you can't lose that about yourself.
Yeah. And I think also when you realize that you are an individual and you don't come to rely on your partner for solving your problems, then you really work within, and you not only build yourself inwards, but afterwards you're able to become more vulnerable and share with your partner much more.
Totally agree.
So what relationship advice would you give to someone who wants to have an extraordinary relationship?
If you're looking to have an extraordinary relationship, you don't have to do extraordinary things. You don't have to fly all around the world and have all these lavish dinners and vacations. Sometimes the best part of Nancy and I's relationship is just those nights where we crack open a bottle of wine and we go into the basement and we watch a TV show for a couple hours. And what makes a true relationship extraordinary is when you are growing together. And Nancy and I both know that we're never going to settle. We are never going to stop working on ourselves, not just for each other, but for ourselves. So if you really want to have an extraordinary relationship, always seek to improve, to be the best version of yourself, and make sure it's ever evolving.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you so much. It was awesome.
Thank you. Well, it was a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode and subscribe to the podcast. Leave a comment below so I can know what you think. And to book your relationship photo shoot, CJE session, or just to hear more about what we do, go to lifepicksrelationships.as.me. I'm waiting.